WDRS Talk is made possible by the Anchor app. If you've never heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's absolutely free and allows you to make your own podcast on your phone or on your computer. Anchor will also distribute your podcast on platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money from your podcast as well without a minimum membership. It's all you need to make a podcast in one place. So, go and download your Anchor app for free, or you can go to anchor.fm to get started today.
You're listening to the Wolf's Den Radio Show. Talk.
Hey, sisters and brothers, welcome to another episode of WDRS Talk, the Wolf's Den Radio Show Talk. This is your host, your brother from another mother, spreading cosmic love wherever I go. Wolf Hemora in your ears, in your minds, and in your souls. All right, how's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's doing great. Even though the world is in quite a mess right now, I hope your personal lives, your individual adventures in life are doing good, and I hope everyone is well. I want to thank you very much for joining me once again for another episode. This is episode 36, and I really appreciate all your support. Please spread the word to your friends and families who are interested in these kinds of stories. And let's bring everybody together. All right, before we move on to interview, I just want to go through some business first. Please do subscribe to whatever channel you are listening to this podcast on. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and also give the episode a like. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, go ahead and like those pages as well. And that helps a lot with the algorithms on the internet. And if you want to actually make a monetary donation to the show, you can do that as well. You can just go to the Anchor app, Anchor, Anchor. It's an app. You download the app and you go to the WDRS Talk page, profile page, and there is a donate button there, or either donate or support. Just click on that button and you can actually support the show financially, and any amount is welcome. Any amount is appreciated. You can give $1, $5, $10, $50, $100, whatever it is that you can spare to support the show, then it is much appreciated. And you can actually also be a monthly donor. I got a couple of monthly donors who are very gracious enough to give a monthly donation to the show. I thank you very much, and I really appreciate it. So you can do that as well to show your support. And what else? Let's see. Yeah, the world is not quite right at the moment. There is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, and it's very unfortunate for the Ukrainian people because we all know who the aggressor here is, and they are actually fighting back. And I really wish them all the luck and all the strength and perseverance that I can give them. And a lot of civilians have died already. So let's just say a prayer for those people. And let's say a prayer so that this war will end soon, and the aggressor put in his place. I mean, it's 2022. Why are we still starting wars? I mean, it's crazy. It's insane, and it's uncalled for. We really have to become civilized human beings already. This is just too much. But anyway, please pray also for the people of Myanmar. They're going through a lot of violence there, a lot of oppression and suppression and violence against civilians. And please pray for all the other places like Palestine and Yemen, where people are being oppressed and their human rights are not respected. So please say a prayer for all those people. Anyway, aside from that, here in California, it is the spring season is starting. All the flowers are starting to bloom again. It's still chilly, but not as chilly as winters, and it's going to get warmer in the coming weeks, coming months. And wherever you are, stay cool if it's hot, stay warm if it's cold. And all right, so here we go, episode 36. And my guest for this episode is Vernon Go. And for those of you who are not familiar with his name, he is the person who started Pulp magazine in the Philippines. And also, he started Pulp Summer Slam in 2001 by accident, actually. And as we all know, Pulp Summer Slam has evolved into this massive annual summer rock festival in the Philippines and is very much world renowned and world respected because of all the foreign acts that Vernon has managed to bring to the Philippines. He actually almost brought Iron Maiden to the Philippines if not for this pandemic, and we talk about that as well. And hopefully, he'll bring Iron Maiden back soon. Well, not back, but bring them, bring them in the first place, so that they can do a really wild show in Manila. We just talk about how Pulp Magazine started, how he accidentally inherited Pulp Summer Slam, and we talk about music and travel and his guitars and a lot of stuff. So it's going to be a good one. I hope you enjoy it. So here we go, episode 36 on WDRS Talk. This is myself and Vernon Go. Enjoy. Hello, Vernon Go is our guest on this episode of WDRS Talk. Thank you very much, Vernon, for joining me, man. How are you doing?
Uh, I guess it's as good as it gets right now, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice to hear from you. It's good to see you. I don't have the video on because, well, it's I've essentially just wearing pajamas.
It's all right, man. I'm wearing pajamas too, bro. And no problem. How's it been, man? I mean, how's your? Oh wait. Oh, okay, there. How's your? Gosh, how was your pandemic going? Is the first question I'd like to ask. Were you in Manila
Well,
the whole time?
no, we took some chances and we did a few trips. We took the kids up to. We were able to take the. I have two small children, and it's just sad seeing them grow up. At home.
Mm-hmm.
So we took a few risks. We took them to Boracay. We took them up to Itogon, which is a little beyond Baguio proper.
Uh-huh.
We took them to this kind of camping site in Cavite, and we took them to this kind of vacation farm. So we've had a few outdoor experiences, but yeah, by and large, it's been we're in this like time warp slowdown, I guess, that everybody is in. Or well, I think it's different in the United States. It seems like everybody's up and about there. But here
Yeah, yeah,
we've been pretty isolated.
yeah. I see it. I see it every day on Facebook. What's going on there? And here, it's things are opening up. Things are opened up because Americans don't like being caged and all of that. They have this thing
Yeah,
about quote unquote freedom, so it's a big deal here. But at the same time, a lot of people have gotten inoculated. So most people, well, here in California, most people have been jabbed and all of that. So we do have the, like I've been to a couple of concerts. I watched Primus like maybe a month ago, and we had to,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like a tribute to Rush. They played, what did they play? I think they played the whole 2112. Yeah,
What,
and
was it like full capacity, or was it distance, or
oh
how
yeah,
did it operate?
it was full, but they checked for vaccination cards. So assuming that everyone was honest that went to the show and showed their
Yeah.
card, everyone in the venue was vaccinated. So it was pretty chill. A lot of people are very cooperative about it. You have pockets here and there, people who are like very adamant about their freedom and all of that, but you just have to take it with everyone else. But it's good that you
But
took your children out to travel. I mean, and I
yeah.
noticed it about you. You like to travel, huh? I remember you posted a lot. You went to Tibet. I think that was the
Oh,
last
that's when
time.
I was, when I was much younger. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
this year I'm turning 50, but I mean, I was doing that. I mean, in my early 30s, and that was awesome. It was actually Nepal a couple of times,
Hmm.
Mongolia. In and this is like in the wintertime. I went to Mongolia in January when the weather's like -40 wind chill factor.
Oh my! Does it snow there?
Oh yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Oh shit. So what's the? You and I are the same age, by the way. I'm 52. I'm
Oh,
turning
you're
51. I'm turning 51 in May, so I'm a year
oh,
older.
I'm
But
turning 50 in May, so we're both. I guess we're both May babies.
all right,
Cool.
on. What's your birthday? May what?
May 10.
Oh,
Yours?
May 10. I'm May 16. So we're both
Oh
Taurus, man.
wow,
We're the same kind of people,
wow.
man. Are you stubborn, dude?
Well, mellowing out in my middle age, but I've been told that much.
Yeah, same here, man. But I mean, we're pretty mellow. I mean, that's what people born in our month or whatever. Pretty chill. So
I
what?
just
What?
wanted to ask you. I was
Mm,
speaking to somebody from Singapore who is quite knowledgeable about the business environment in general, and she said, well, in Singapore, because they're a small city state, their vaccination rate is like very very high. Like it's almost everybody is vaccinated,
yeah,
90+%. But she said in the states overall, the vaccination rate is quite low.
it's actually it's actually 50%. So half of the country is, and half of the
That's
country
why
isn't.
I guess that's why this Singaporean says it's quite low, because in a first world country, 50% is low,
Yeah,
especially
well,
since it's free
yeah,
there, right?
it's very free. Yeah, but like I said, there Americans are not used to. When I say Americans, I mean people who are born here, raised here. They're not used to
Right.
anywhere else. Not like I am or other immigrants who come from third world countries. We're always
Yeah.
exposed to emergencies and stuff like this, so that we're exposed to coup d'etats and all of that
Yeah.
and revolutions. So we it's like, to us, the vaccination is like, okay, that's what we need to do then, but a lot of Americans are not used to that. They're not used to crisis inside America.
Yeah.
So when you give them all these rules, they're not used to having all these rules,
Well, you have
so
to imagine, like in America, in the United States of America, they haven't had like mass violent conflict since the Civil War, I believe.
no, not at all. I mean, everything that I mean, the only really big event inside the states would be 9/11.
Yes.
um and
Which is tragic as it is, it's still an isolated, violent event.
right, right. And when people talk about it here, like especially comedians, I watch stand-up comedy on TV, and then some of them, they touch on 9/11, and or in the news, and they say, okay, yeah, it united everybody for a while, but then
Yeah.
after a couple of months, everyone is back to their old racist ways or whatever,
Oh
bigoted
boy.
ways and with
Yeah.
each other. So yeah, it's this is my 20th year living here, and
Wow, has
it,
it been that long?
it's
Holy
been that
shit!
it's been that long, dude. Yeah, I came
Holy
here in
shit!
2002. Yeah, so this year is my 20th year, and
Wow.
getting to know the culture. Yeah, there is that side of America that is just very hard-headed and always pushing quote unquote freedom, where
Right.
and then sometimes you just scratch your head because sometimes it doesn't add up. They say freedom, 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 and then you're like, well, yeah, you have freedom, but this is a pandemic. This is an emergency where we all need to band together, or else we're never going to see the end of it. And of course, now what's happening is this Omicron thing is kicking everybody's ass who hasn't been vaccinated and who have been vaccinated. And
Yeah.
but the ones who are getting the raw deal are the ones who are unvaxxed. So I
Yeah.
feel for
I
them.
don't
I feel for
understand that.
them, but at the end of the day, it's still their choice. So I mean,
If the science if the science news is true that the unvaccinated are at greater risk, and the unvaccinated are where variants do somehow develop, then yeah,
mhm,
it's a problem for everybody. And
yeah.
it's sad. I mean, I know somebody who lives there that who lost a family member, and I believe that he is not vaccinated for some reason.
Wow. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe during the beginning, the start of this whole thing, everyone was still didn't know what was going on. They didn't understand what was going on. Of course, people from the third world countries, they were like, "Shoo, we know what's going on. Give me that.
Uh-huh.
We need that We need that vaccine as soon as possible, man. Get it in me right away." But
Yeah.
it's very complicated. This country is very complicated. But you have to take the bad with the good, and there's a lot of
We're
good here too. So
Well, our household, we're on our we've basically been boosted.
yeah,
So
I've been boosted too. Yeah,
we've had 3 jabs. So
yeah,
I mean, we're doing what we can do.
yeah. So so what's this? So you like traveling, huh? Because I like
Oh,
traveling too.
I think well, actually, ever since I was not even 20, I've loved traveling. My family is in media.
Mm-hmm,
So when I was a teenager, I'd work for the Philippine Star, and
mm-hmm.
I'd take the travel assignments. I'd go on the junkets, and then of course as I got older, I just would prefer to do my own travel, so I don't have to write glowing things about travel itineraries that aren't so interesting.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I think it is. I think it's the greatest splurge or spoil or what that you could do for your loved ones. Like, when I see, my son. I mean, I tell him he's so lucky because he's been able to go on a cruise to Alaska at 5 years old.
Wow.
He's done a month long Mediterranean cruise with me and my wife.
Wow.
I say
I've never done those things, bro.
I told him, I told him, I told him, you should try to remember these moments because people go through their entire lives and they don't even experience this, and you've
Yeah.
already experienced it. And I have a little girl, and she just turned, she's 4 now, and I tell my son Winter, London hasn't even gone on a big ship, and that's my goal, Sana, to like spend my 50th birthday on a cruise. You know.
Oh shit, man. I mean, the cruise ships, those are the number one no-nos, in the pandemic. That's how the pandemic started here in the States, man. It was on a cruise ship. They
Uh,
had to, I don't know if that news reached you guys, but the first inkling of this virus when it first started here in America, because everyone knew it was in China already, in
yeah.
Wuhan. And then there was this cruise ship that docked in was it in Florida? I think it was in Florida.
Okay.
And everyone started getting COVID on the ship,
Wow.
and they had to quarantine the ship. They weren't allowed to leave the passengers.
Yeah.
So this was the first time everyone heard the term quarantine, coronavirus in America. This was it. This
Well,
one this
I
one
wonder
cruise ship.
if this is a different ship that you're talking about to the one. There was one that they made a movie. They cut a movie out of real footage,
Mm.
And this ship, I mean, it was full of Americans, but this ship was quarantined in Japan, and
Oh,
they apparently got it when they did a dock in Hong Kong,
right.
but it was quarantined in Japan.
Yeah, I think that's a different ship, because
Diff-
the one that we the first one that we experienced was here in the States.
oh
That's why
wow.
the tourists were like freaking out, because they were already in the States, so they couldn't leave the ship because and then everything just blew up from there. So yeah, I wouldn't go on a cruise ship just yet, man.
Well,
But of course, if
the way we do things is pretty isolated. Like when I took we did 2 trips to Boracay,
mm,
and where we stay is quite isolated. Like we don't pass people basically.
right.
We hardly pass people.
Hmm.
So like even in the ship, like on my first experience, I never thought I'd like going on a cruise, but in 2016 I went on my first one. Well, not well, my first real, what I call although I've done it before as a media person for the Star, this is the first
Hmm.
one where I got to really spoil myself, and like we had like the suite like in front of the ship, like you felt like the captain, and
Wow.
it was huge. Like, I mean, literally this suite was probably 250 square meter.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so like we're not with people.
Oh oh my gosh. Where was this
And
cruise? What was the route?
oh my god, this one started in Dubai, and it went all the way to Singapore. I was on this ship for like almost a month.
Oh my god.
And like the one that I did with my son and my wife and my mom was the Alaskan one. And dude, our room was 2 floors, and it was like 1,000, I don't know, 1,500 square meters.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, that's like 15,000 square feet. It's like
Yeah.
massive.
It's
Um,
massive. Yeah. It's like a
and
suite in
like
Vegas or something.
like you don't need to mingle.
Hmm.
See, a lot of people that go on cruises, they like to mingle.
Yeah, they like to mingle. Yeah.
We don't mingle.
Right. Yeah. 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 Well, that's how it spread on the strip, because everyone was mingling.
Yeah, because that's a lot of cruisers like that, because they get to meet new people, hang out, have conversations. But I just I like it for the privacy. I like it just to spend time with the family and show them different parts of the world, and
Right. Right.
that's what we do. So although yeah, we know the concerns. We believe that the greatest risk in travel is the airplane.
Of course. Of course. Yes. Yeah.
Because even if you're gonna spend on like business class, you know everything is contained in that
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah. You are in you're at the mercy of the plane,
Yeah.
the plane's condition, whatever it is, if it's in perfect condition or not. You're at the mercy of that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. So I wanna because I just like on this podcast, the people that I interview on this podcast are people that I actually like to talk to or have interest in. It's not just okay. I'm gonna get someone famous just because they're famous. So these the people that I interview I have a meaningful experience with them, even if they didn't know it. So that's why I wanted to talk to you, because you have you have pretty much put the fucking Philippines on the rock and roll world map, which is such an amazing feat that didn't come overnight. It did not come overnight, because I was there in
Yeah.
the
I
first
mean,
slam, dude. I
yep.
was there, man. And
Yeah, that
yeah,
was
you
awesome.
remember what year was that? 1980,
That,
1990.
that was 2000.
Oh, 2000. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I started Pulp Magazine December 1999. That's
Right.
when we first put out the first issue in that month, 1999. And yeah, and our first SummerSlam was a few months after that, which was in April of 2000. And
Wow. So
yep.
let me ask you how you got in. Are you a journalist?
Well, like I said, I mean, my family, since my grandfather has been in the media,
Mm-hmm.
and but I grew up my teenage years and most of my younger years were in Canada, and I grew up loving music. Like
Right.
I remember one of my first cassettes was Machine Head, Deep Purple, of
Oh
course, right?
wow. Nice.
Um, and I just rolled on from there. I remember two of my first vinyl records was like Iron Maiden's Peace of Mind, and a live double album, Black Sabbath's with Ronnie James Dio,
Oh, Live
Live
Evil.
Evil,
Yeah. Wow, man.
and,
So who
and
who who got you
yeah,
into rock and roll?
um, the Machine Head was actually a classmate here in the Philippines when I was here briefly for, I think it was grade 5 or 6 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he had introduced me to Deep Purple. And but when I went back to Canada, I lived in Toronto, and I was just, I guess, just the crowd of kids that I was hanging around. Everybody, everybody who's cool is like listening
Yeah.
to rock and roll.
Yeah,
You know,
especially those times when we were in fifth grade. Yeah, it was all
yeah,
rock and roll.
yeah. It's like you just, you just be focused on putting on that record and dropping the needle and listening to the music come out. There wasn't all this cell phone and social media distraction. I'm so
Right.
glad looking back that I got to grow up without all this social media bullshit.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and then yeah, because I remember the times when I was just starting to get into rock, before forming Wolfgang and all of that. My
yeah,
friends were, giving me, Miguel Ortigas was giving me all these. He had tons of records. His sister lived here in Hollywood, and she would
yeah,
send him all the Iron Maiden records, all the Metallica records, all the Dio records, all the Sabbath, Ozzy, and
yeah,
he had so many records. He was like, listen to this and listen to that. And listen. I'm like, fuck. I was freaking out with all this music. Yeah, and there was no distraction of social media whatsoever. So it was just you
yep,
and the music.
yeah. And it was so meaningful. Like you'd memorize the lyrics. I mean,
Mhm.
it's yeah. It was amazing growing experience. Um, yeah.
And you also play guitar. When did that start?
Oh, that started about the same time. Like when I was hearing all this stuff. I mean, after a while, you're playing air guitar and you say, "That man, I wish I had a real guitar."
The real guitar, yeah.
And yeah, I remember my mom got me at that time it was a fortune. It was like 300 Canadian dollars for this electric Takamine. It was in the shape of kind of like a Gibson Explorer, but it was all black. And
Wow.
I remember, yeah, I'd practice for most of my teenage years. I was playing guitar for at least 6 hours a day.
Oh wow. Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Man. 6 hours a day, man. Well, yeah, I
Actually,
mean, if there's no
now
social
I'm
media, you
playing
can do
guitar again because I'm just at
that.
home. You know, and I
Hmm.
was talking to Joey Dizon. I said, "Wow, if I had these things that I have here now, like I've got like this digital amp that has all these presets. So
Right.
if you want like a Sabbath tone or a Metallica tone or a Megadeth tone, it's all there." And
Yeah.
and then I didn't realize like I could just play along with the song in these amps. Before, if you wanted to play along with a song, it was hard to like get your ghetto blaster to, because it's cassette tape, you got to back it up, and oh, it's such a hassle. But with this machine, it's like I want to play this song, I just press play and I play right along with it. You know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's if I want to start again, it's so easy, just like that. I was like, man, I play so many songs now along with the tune. Like I divide my days. Like one day it's a Metallica day, one another day's Slayer day, another day's Megadeth day, and
Nice.
that's what I do now to kill time, and it's so much fun.
Oh, right on, man. And of course, the people who invented that stuff were probably our age who experienced all of that before. It's like, yeah, we don't have anything here now. It's like, so
Yeah.
They
That's
probably.
why the learning curve of young musicians now is so much faster than in our day.
It is unbelievable, man. I don't know if you're on Instagram, but my gosh, the musicians on there, these young kids,
Yep.
shred and women, dude, these young women
Yep.
shredding the fucking guitar to pieces, man. I'm like, holy shit.
Because I realize now, for at least for guitar, I don't. Of course, it's a different thing for drums,
Mm-hmm.
but if you're able to play, whether it's rhythm or lead, without like using so much, how do you call it, muscle strain, the
Mm-hmm.
best players are when you're relaxed. You know, like
Right.
when I was relearning Creeping Death, I was like sweating and I was getting cramps.
With
But
the rhythm guitar.
yeah, but now, like it doesn't. I don't even sweat, and I play right along with the record,
Uh-huh.
with the recording, because that's what I believe that, before, you hardly saw like a female shredder,
Yeah.
because you'd see all these guys like playing super fast, but the guys who really play super fast, and they're not really exerting that much effort sometimes.
Right, right.
They're
You're
they're
right. Yeah,
just
yeah.
they're like in a zone. you know
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so there, it's not a muscle game. It's a, yeah. Anyway.
What's your guitar now?
Oh,
Or
I got so
guitars?
many guitars.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite three guitars?
Well, I actually just use three guitars now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, see one of the things you do as a promoter is, since, like with Slayer, and I when I book them, I start to buy up their signature guitars, and when they're here, I ask them nicely if they could sign them for me.
Uh-huh.
So what the guitars I use now are actually like a Jim Root signature and a Mick Thompson signature,
Mm-hmm.
because we had Slipknot booked for like the third time, and obviously I don't know if and when it will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, those are the guitars I use. I love I use this Jackson Mick Thompson. I use this Fender Telecaster Jim Root signature, and I use this other Ibanez Prestige for the E flat songs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I use.
Nice. So your first guitar was that the Takamine, right?
A Takamine. Yeah,
Right.
these guitars are, of course, a little more pricey with, well, the inflation. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. For sure.
yeah.
For sure. So when you were because so my experience with hearing like first hearing Vernon Go's name, because I've never heard you before in the scene. Uh
I
was
never.
when
I mean, I'm just a fan. Like,
No,
I
right, right,
I
right.
I love
Yeah.
music, and like I started writing for the newspaper. I wrote a music column, and
Okay.
I still work on one of our family publications, the Philippines Yearbook, and we continue to put that out, which my
Right.
grandfather started in 1936, and we
Oh,
continue to
wow.
publish that. And
Wow.
it was it was that little branch of the company where I built Pulp out of,
Yeah.
and
So
Pulp
yeah.
was just really just a an accident. Like, I was having lunch with somebody who at that time opened Tower Records, and he had asked me, "Hey, Vernon, do you want to do a music magazine?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay."
Oh, okay. So that's how it started. Oh yeah,
That's
that's
how it
right.
started.
Tower Records. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just said, well, I started to do shows to promote Pulp magazine, and like, Pulp Summer Slam was also kind of an accident, because there was a guy who just he did this show. I don't know what his he didn't even have a name for his show. He just started to book all these bands,
Uh-huh.
and then he realized it was hard to promote a show. So he said,
Yeah. Right, yeah.
he set a meeting with me, and he said, I've got all these bands, and I've paid them, but I don't know how to get people to go. And I was like, so what do you want me to
Oh.
do? And he says, well, can you help me? I said, okay. And he says, what do you want? I said, well, listen, it's your business, but what I want is I'll name the show. So that's how
Mm-hmm.
I named it Pulp Summer Slam. I mean,
Right.
I grew up in Canada, so the redneck wrestling culture. So I said, let's call it Pulp Summer Slam.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and
So
it had that. Yeah, I remember it's like when it first came out, SummerSlam. I immediately right away it was pro wrestling in my head.
yeah,
You
it's so fun.
know,
You
yeah,
know, the walkout songs, all the silliness and aggression.
uh huh,
Um, and yeah, those are some of the things that, of course, I mean, and music is a release.
man. I that was a big thing because everyone. Well, when we got there, I remember that first one. Michael Turner even
Yeah,
he played the national anthem on his Flying V. I remember that. That was a great start. That was the first
yeah.
one, right? When Michael
See,
Turner
I'm not
played
even
the anthem.
sure
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
at that time I was like, I was still so young and crazy, man. I mean, we're drinking Red Horse like water.
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
drink beer anymore.
so 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 when you started Pulp, what was your idea? What was your like your vision for it?
Well, at that time in the early years, I mean, if you look at especially the first 2 years of Pulp magazine,
Do you remember
um,
the first issue, the first cover?
yeah, of course. I mean, all of the covers are my concepts.
Okay.
So, so the that's what I wanted. I wanted the magazine to be very visual. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted the images to be like just gonzo, crazy images as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
So that's why I spent a lot of time talking to musicians, local musicians, and saying, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we show you in this other light? Because all these, you know, one of my pet peeves with the local scene. And now that I look back, I'm so happy that I was able to promote and publish stories about bands during that time, because I think the music was so well. I sound like an old guy, and I am, but I think the music was so much more vibrant and alive and free. I'm not. I'm not. I haven't seen stuff now that I think is awesome.
No.
Um, but like Wolfgang, the Razorheads,
Yeah.
Razorback, Battery. That was just my style. I liked
Yeah.
it, and I remember working with Michael with his cover. Like he'd carry the statue
Oh
of
yeah,
you know
the Mary statue. Yeah.
yeah, because I was saying one of my pet peeves is I just felt bands usually didn't want to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
They were all into like, I'm just myself, I'm just myself. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you have to forget, you're forgetting that, hey, you remember the music that we grew up to, Judas Priest, Kiss,
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden, um, Black Sabbath. These guys, they looked the part of the music that they played,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought a lot of local bands should have tapped into that and felt like, look, we are we are we are doing our music, but music is entertainment. Music is a release. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it is an emotional release, a spiritual release, but there is that. It isn't just about an audio experience. It is a visual experience, which is
Yes.
what I wanted to do with Pulp Magazine, and which is why, if you look back at the first covers, they're very visual. So that's why the first cover was like this girl in her chaps showing a little bit of her ass, and she's
Mm-hmm.
being wound up by a midget, and
That's right. Oh yeah, and she was
it
like wearing
was
a leather.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
she's
that's
being
right.
wound up by a midget, and of course that's an ode to the song "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I remember now. I can picture that cover. Yeah, she had really thick hair. I remember, and
Oh, we teased it. Yeah, we had it
yeah,
teased up
yeah,
like
she had
that.
teased hair. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. That
She was
was
a
and
she was a princess of Brunei.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
she's a very nice lady.
Yeah.
Her name's Shauna.
Oh, and was she living in the Philippines or
At
what?
that time, yeah, she had already finished her uh whatever her time in Brunei.
Oh, okay, okay. I get it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's another thing that's very noteworthy is that the out the covers, the magazine covers of Pulp, you would always
dude.
since
It took
that it,
a lot of effort. Like the one we did with Carl Roy in we Ricky Reyes, who's the famous hairdresser guy.
uh-huh.
We knew that he had this swank house, so I asked if we could use his house, and we of course got a bevy of ladies to
Yeah,
like drape themselves over this over Carl Roy.
yeah, I
I mean,
remember that now.
I love stuff like that. I mean, imagine these days if we did that, we'd get all kinds of these like kids saying, "Oh, it's sexual."
Oh yeah,
It's
you'd get canceled and all of that stuff, man.
putting
Canceled
women
culture.
down. Absolutely not. It's a celebration.
It's a celebrate. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing nowadays. The I don't know. I mean, the younger generation nowadays, they're very sheltered. So any
The
little thing, they're very,
wokeness or whatever. I don't know.
yeah. But I mean, the being woke is fine, but going overboard with it is kind of annoying. When you're
Yeah.
too much woke, it's like just like calm down, man, calm down. We're not degrading women here. They they
No. Not
weren't they're not slaves. They weren't forced to do that. They're
no.
getting paid. Everyone's getting paid here, so no one's getting exploited.
Yeah. It's. I remember my younger staff did this recently, like a couple of years ago, or maybe in the year before the pandemic. They did this cover with this band. I can't remember who, but they put one or two girls showing their legs, and it got so much hate. Like I looked at the
Gosh.
picture and I was like, man, I mean, I couldn't even fantasize to that picture. It's too tame.
Yeah, or it's normal. It's like it's
Yeah,
legs. I
yeah,
mean,
it's legs, but
it's legs. We've,
yeah,
I mean, women have been flaunting their legs since the beginning of time, since the,
like,
the fucking Garden of Eden, man.
well, if you see this stuff on Instagram, it's like that's like porn. That's
Oh
porn.
my, yeah, yeah, dude. I mean, if you go on Twitter, there's actual porn on Twitter. There's no holds barred on Twitter, man.
Yeah, so I
So
don't know what they're talking about.
yeah, it's a weird thing that I think because social media is just coming at these young people from everywhere, just being bombarded by everything. They don't know how to react to it. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? They don't know how to. Oh, she's showing too much cleavage. Oh, I'm getting offended. It's like, dude, relax. It's
yeah.
cleavage.
They use
It
this word
comes with
object.
the woman. You know what I
They use
mean?
this word objectified. We objectified. I mean,
Yeah, but the thing that they don't understand is that when you see a woman in a magazine cover, she got her business done. She was paid, you know, she was paid, she got, it was a business transaction. That's
yeah,
that's what they don't understand, that whole other side of it. It's like she wasn't being held at gunpoint to be in a bikini. You know what I mean? So just calm down. That's her choice.
yeah. And
She wa-
I
you know,
remember, of course, a lot of them. I'm sure, like all the models we worked with were happy with the photographs. I mean, they were there. We reviewed the image together,
mhm.
and I'm sure, like people would look back at that, like let's say the girls who participated in the Carl Roy photo, and that's a part of history. That is a part of music of Philippine music history. It'll never
Yeah.
repeat.
Yeah, and then let's say during the production of it, I mean, no one was treating these women badly. They were, I'm it's they're treated with respect because it's a business. It's not, so there's that side of it that that younger generations don't understand, and they're quick to judge.
Yeah,
It's like if you see a swimsuit model on Sports Illustrated,
yeah.
she got paid, man. She got paid big to be sexy on that cover. So don't worry about her. She's good, you know?
I think that the other important thing besides being paid is, I mean, they want she wanted, like she the our imaginary, she probably wanted to do that. I mean, it
Yes,
wasn't
yes.
just about the money, and
Right,
she was
right,
probably
right.
proud of that. So
Right.
why take that away?
Exactly. I mean, those covers are probably framed on their walls, because
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, so and another thing with the covers of Pulp, I think it it broke barriers with regards to the conservative side of Filipinos. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we were coming up around the same time. FHM started to publish, the local FHM.
Uh huh. And
So
Maxim.
yeah, well, Maxim was after, so
Mm-hmm.
it was us first, and then FHM came out, and FHM would have a lot of, there'd be people comparing us to FHM back then, but we were still about music. I mean,
Yeah.
the ladies part was almost just because, well, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I mean, it was part of the the philosophical culture of music, at least to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was all artistic, man. I mean, it's art. You're not creating, you're not creating smut.
Well,
It's art.
like I said, I mean, I didn't publish covers to be art, but I did publish covers to be evocative, to be
Mm.
provocative, to
Hmm.
evoke some kind of emotion.
Right.
So if somebody sees it as art, fine. If somebody sees it as smut, fine. But what it did succeed in was it evoked a response.
Right.
That was almost our goal.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, that's how pop became so popular. It's like, oh, these guys are pushing it. So you would wait, for the next. You would anticipate what the next cover would look like. What are they gonna come up with now? I
Yeah.
mean, how wild is this gonna get? And then I remember one cover with the doctor Ramon Jalcita, and he was like a doc. He was dressed in a doctor's uniform, but he had a cleaver. He had a butcher's
Yep.
knife and all that with blood on it and all that. So yeah, man. I mean, it was great because that's what rock and roll is, man. And you push it until even if people complain about it, it's like, yeah, I'm not hurting anybody. So
And
let's
that's
go.
what that's why I was explaining to Ramon. I don't know, back then when we did that, he was like, "So we're doing a cover, but I have to wear a mask." I said, "Yeah, because you're the doctor and you're
Yeah,
the voice. People don't see your face."
right.
So there was almost ideas behind our images back then.
What would be your favorite cover? Do you have one in
Well,
mind?
definitely the first one, the one that we talked about, and also the Carl Roy one, which we talked about.
Uh-huh.
Those would stand as some of my favorites.
Very cool. I ended up even writing for Pulp.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, I was doing album reviews. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun, because aside from that, the scene, which was so big and so popular, it had to have it had to have it had to have what I don't know what I'm trying to say here. It had to have a someone there had to be a magazine to cover it. Just like here in the States, there's Circus Magazine, Hit Parader, Rolling Stone. There was nothing like that before Pulp. I mean, you would see every now and then you'd see an article in the newspaper, like in the Philippine Star, about a band or an album, but that's it. There was no real publication aside
Yeah.
from Jingle Magazine, which was not really a journalistic thing. It was more chords and all of that, songs.
Yes.
But there was no,
That
yeah,
was one of my goals because I obviously growing up at least part time in the Philippines, I knew that all there really was jingle. Um, and that's great. There was even a magazine that had music, but as somebody who grew up with circus and like later on Metal Hammer, you wanted something that was really music journalism, a
yes,
a periodical that would write for fans and not write for somebody who's like trying to learn chords. That's something else.
yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
something else. Yeah,
um
is pop still going? Is still going?
we have our website, but we haven't published a print magazine since the onset of the pandemic.
Oh, okay, right, right.
um but yeah, I mean, we just published something for Leanne of Slapshock with this new project. Um, but yeah, we haven't published since the onset of the pandemic.
So let's switch over to SummerSlam. And when did you see? That's another thing. There was that took care of the journalistic side, and then you had an annual festival that culminated the year, or was in the middle of the year, in summer.
Yeah,
it
right.
it actually it actually gave people something to look forward to during summer, because summer in the Philippines pre SummerSlam is boring. You go out of town, you go to the beach, or you go to Baguio. If you're lucky enough, you go out of the country, and
Yeah,
that's about it. But there's nothing in the country that people, like, the locals really looked forward to, and that's what SummerSlam was. And it became an annual thing. And how did the from the first one to the second one, how did you take over? Did you take over it? I mean, from the guy who was the
yeah.
one
He didn't
who
want to
actually
do it
was.
anymore.
Oh, okay.
He was like, "This is too much headache." I said, "Well, okay, well, I'll take it over then, since it's my name anyway now."
All right.
So, but there were a couple of like rationales behind continuing it, and one had to do with my belief that music is music. Music
Mhm.
isn't something that, like, we have Pulp magazine, we write about music, but I mean that's only secondary. Music is an experience. Music is to be heard, to be
Uh-huh.
performed, to be enjoyed live. You know, that is the ultimate experience of music. To be in the room, in a big room, a small room, with a live band, and vibing and sharing that emotion. So that is the ultimate purpose, I believe, of music, which is why Pulp Summer Slam and then doing headline shows was so important and fun, because it was, that's why we do this. We want to be there, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, you've touched already at least two generations of Filipino rockers, or maybe three by now,
well,
of having
and
that annual thing.
I would think so. No, it was probably be three generations, because we didn't our last one was with 2019, with Slayer's final show in
Oh
Adrian.
yeah. Wow.
And yeah, I'm so glad we got to do that one, because I'm still in touch with Kerry King. We just spoke a few days ago.
Wow. How is Kerry King? Is he a cool dude? He seems
Super
he
cool.
Yeah,
In
he's I
fact,
mean he looks intense, of course, but
like, one of the guys people think he has a bad reputation, but is really really a nice guy, is Dave
yeah.
Mustaine.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Wow.
he's super cool. Like, it's
Uh-huh.
super smart. I mean, he has
Oh
very
yeah,
strong
that
opinions.
every yeah, that we know about Mustaine. He is a smart dude. Yeah.
But people don't see that he's really a nice guy. Like, he's a family man. You know, um, what was I saying? Uh, yeah,
Dick
I
Mustaine.
remember
Yeah.
this one time I
Uh-huh.
was at home, and it was already a week or so after a show that I did, a SummerSlam show where Megadeth headlined. I was sitting
Hmm.
on the couch, and I got a call from an unknown number. I picked it up, and it was Dave Mustaine.
Oh my God, he called you?
Yeah, he had my number, I guess, from the contract sheets.
Uh-huh. So what was that like? What did he want?
I wanted to talk about, like, his beer. Dave is a very astute businessman, so he was like selling me his beer. Like, you should do Megadeth beer. You know, it's called the Tout Lemon, and I said I sincerely looked into it, but it was just it was just too much for our business model to absorb. I mean,
Right, right.
become a
Also,
major beer importer. No,
also he wanted you to open up a brewery in Manila and sell
no,
beer. Oh,
no, to import it, because
or to
that
import it.
it's a very specialized. It's just like if you drink Guinness in Ireland and you drink Guinness in the Philippines, it's a different Guinness.
Yeah. All right. Right. Yeah.
Even if you import the actual product, it's still different because of the freshness of the water.
Uh-huh.
And that's yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's why when you when you would I don't know when that this would happen. I forgot where we would find early on in the States, we would find San Miguel beer, pale pilsen, and then we would look. It's like not it wasn't made in the Philippines, and then you
yeah.
take a sip and you're like, oh, it doesn't taste like the like pale pilsen in the
It's
Philippines.
different
Yeah, yeah.
because the main ingredient, the water, is different.
It is different. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they may
Right.
follow the same formula, but the water, the base material is water, and when that is different, you know, there's a different taste. I'm
Uh-huh.
like I don't drink beer at all anymore. I think the only time I drink beer is if I found myself in Ireland and I could have a Guinness, a real Guinness,
Uh-huh.
or a Kilkenny, but I would never look for beer. I don't drink beer at all anymore,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even if it's free. Like when we stay in Boracay, the place we get, they give us free beer. I don't even drink one.
Uh-huh. So so uh from the so let's say, okay, so second SummerSlam, it's all
Yeah, it was our operation already.
it's already all complete pulp. And how long is the preparation of that? Let's say uh usually it happens in May, right? Did it happen in May?
April,
Oh, April, right,
April.
right. So
Yeah.
so when do you start planning for it?
Basically, after I finish one, I already have an idea of what I want to do for the next one.
Oh, wow.
So for many years, as you probably remember, I mean, it was a full local lineup, like 30 bands, 40 bands, 50
Right.
bands.
Uh-huh.
But there was a point when I realized, I'm getting tired of this, and
Yeah.
the production isn't improving.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and,
yeah, yeah.
and I felt like I felt like we were just rushing all these sets. Like some bands, they're playing 3 songs, 4 songs, five
Right.
songs.
Right.
You don't really. I mean, as a fan, I didn't get the point anymore. Like before, when you're young and you're full of energy and you just want to fucking keep the band playing until everybody's completely passed out. And we
Yeah.
did that for so many years now. It got boring. So in the later years of SummerSlam, especially after the 9th and 10th, I started to book foreign lineups with a minimal local support because I felt that was a better show.
Yeah. Who was the first foreign act that you got in?
I think um it wasn't even a name band. It was a silly band called Jaggedy Ann. I mean, no,
Jaggedy
I shouldn't say
Ann.
they're silly. They were nice people. It was
Uh-huh.
a girl band.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I think the first band of repute that I brought in to be
Wait,
part
where was Jaggedy Ann from?
Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
They're a girl
How
band.
did how did you connect with them?
Their manager was we ended up drinking with him. We're still friends,
Uh-huh.
and he said, "I got this band, and I want to do this promotion called Battle of the Bands." I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So we did his promotion, and it was pretty successful. But and then we put his previous year's winner on the bill and on Pulp Summer Slam, and they were pretty girls, so they were a good contribution to our poster.
Right,
So
right.
there, and after that, the first band I would say that was of great repute that we booked on there was Death Angel.
Oh, that's right. What year was that?
Jeez, I have to check, but I
They were still all Filipino at that time, right?
yeah I would
Yeah.
they rebuilt their original lineup because of this booking. Like
Oh, wow.
the only
Okay.
one that didn't participate was Gus Peppa.
Who is the bassist, right?
No, the guitar player, the Dennis Peppa is the bass player.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Right, right, right.
But I think that was 2007.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2006 was Jaggedy Ann. 2007 was Death Angel. We called that Seven Deadly Sins.
It's amazing that you know, let's say from that time until maybe 2 years ago when Death Angel got nominated for a Grammy. Can you
Yeah,
imagine that? Can you
Yeah,
imagine that? Fucking Death Angel got nominated for a Grammy. I mean, after all these years, they finally got,
yeah,
got what they're due. I mean, that's a big thing. Even if you don't win, that's a Grammy. You're mentioned in they have to mention your name on CBS, in front of the whole
yeah,
country.
yeah. That
So,
is that is good.
yeah,
And of course, I, as a lover of heavy metal, I wish they would give them more respect.
uh-huh.
But it's the world. Anyway, yeah, it was Death Angel, and the whole story of that is actually another story, because I mean, one of I'm sure you went to Big Sky before many times, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's where I met. Or that's where I would have a few beers with Gus Peppa. Although I met him in Morato, no, Adratico,
In
and after
Malate.
that
Yeah.
we had got together again in Big Sky, and I would continuously nag him about you have to get the band back here. They've never at that time they had never played the Philippines where they're from.
Yeah.
So I was really happy we got to do that, and I mean to this day I remain good friends with Gus and Rob Cavastani.
Rob, yeah.
Uh,
I think I actually met Rob in Big Sky, or maybe that was Gus. I
probably
remember,
probably Gus.
yeah, I remember meeting someone from Death Angel in Big Sky. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Gus left the band and he never came back.
Oh wow.
Oh, it's
You
it's
see,
sad.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean now Death Angel is like, I mean, I think Rob is Rob the only Filipino left, or
No,
who?
there's Rob, there's Ted Aguilar,
Oh, Ted,
um,
right.
there's Mark, the singer. He's actually,
Oh yeah, Mark. Oh shit. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, the singers.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the drummer, yeah, he's white, and the bass player is white,
Yeah.
Damien, and yeah,
I remember when Death Angel came back to Slam, and it was already the interracial band, and I see these two white dudes, and they're like they look like they're from the 70s, man. Like, who the fuck are these motherfuckers, man?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Damien has
yeah.
that old school vibe, because I think he also
Yeah.
wears he wears the bell bottom
Yeah, the
sometimes.
bell bottoms, and like, wow, yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, I mean, we need more Cliff Burton out there, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you first got Death Angel, did it open your did it like open your mind more? It's like, you know what, I want to make this fucking like Lollapalooza, or like Coachella or something. Was there Coachella already at the time? I don't know, but
No,
something, but
I just
Lollapalooza at the very least, you know.
no. I just wanted to bring in bands that I like.
Okay.
You- and thankfully, I mean, I got to do that. Like I grew up listening to Death Angel. I grew up listening to Testament,
Mhm.
Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, and they they've all played the SummerSlam.
Wow, it's so cool, man. I mean, yeah, I mean that's the same concept I have with this podcast. It's like my guests are the people that I dig, They're not just whoever is popular, So, and that's another thing that I always thought about you. It's like how lucky, how fortunate the Philippines is that someone with your um background, with the resources that you have, with your media, with your media company, um
Well, the media
and you just
the Philippine Star is not mine. I mean, it the like now it's basically it's owned by Manny Pangalingan.
uh-huh. No, but but you had a lot of resources to pull this thing off, to pull Pulp off, to pull SummerSlam off. And I always think that how lucky the Philippines is that you actually liked this kind of music, and that you were passionate, you were so passionate about it that you're like, you know what, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna bring these bands in and play with the local dudes, and it's gonna be a really good time every summer. you
Well,
know it, it,
I'm equally, or perhaps even more so, lucky that I'm not alone here. That as a person that loves heavy music.
Right.
Um, I think one of the things that as SummerSlam progressed, that I espoused was to continue to try to elevate the production of the show, so
Uh-huh.
that you know the ticket prices did go up, but I mean,
Oh, come on. I mean, that's nothing, man.
yeah, I honestly, like, it really is like, people don't understand, like, people got to see Slayer for, like, I think 1,000 pesos.
Yeah. And that's
There,
what?
there were
That's
higher prices. I think the highest price was 5,000, but
I mean, 1,000 pesos is what? $20, right? That's 20
that
bucks.
like, you can't see Slayer as a headline a festival for $20.
No, you cannot. You cannot watch Slayer in a headline tour for 20 bucks.
Yeah,
No way. At least $75, at the very least.
like our front section was, you know, under $100.
Ah, that's unheard of, man.
Yeah, and the
And
production was the same show you got in Japan.
oh yeah, exactly. I mean, why would they I mean, why would they perform less, right? I mean, they're
I
on a
they,
roll.
they,
They're
were,
on,
they were fans that came from, like, other parts of the world, like Asia, to watch Slayer at SummerSlam.
yes. Right. Right. Yeah, that was yeah. Yeah, and so let me ask you from Death Angel, how did you already say now, oh, this I can do this. I can get more bands that I like who are foreign bands and put them in a festival setting instead of one just bringing one band and booking the fucking Araneta Coliseum and big production and all of that. It's like I guess it would be you'd hit more birds with one stone because then you could afford. I guess if it was a festival setting, their prices I mean, their talent fee is more affordable than you if you got them for just a solo show, right? Am I
Not necessarily, no,
uh-huh. Okay.
not at all.
So it's still the same rate.
Basically,
Is the rate the amount of time their set is, or is it just
no.
no?
That's just that would just be their rate. It's just that
Wow.
I just SummerSlam was, it wasn't like, oh, I thought, oh, if I put this there, this is gonna mean this that. I
Uh-huh.
just looked at it from content. I just wanted to build a show that was a great show to promote. I mean, I wanted the story to be a great story, and this story is something you listen to and you bang your head to. So that was just it. It wasn't like, oh, I can do this and I'll do that next time. No, it was,
Uh-huh.
this is the story that needs to be told.
Right.
That's
Man.
why. That's why one year it was Megadeth. They were the headliner. And then the next year it just turned out it was Slayer's farewell world tour. So
Yeah.
I had to have that. I was lucky to get
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
And then
Okay. I get it.
how could I make the story even better? Fuck
Right.
Iron Maiden.
Fucking Iron Maiden, man. Fucking
But then
this fucking pandemic, motherfucker. I mean, if Iron Maiden, if that show pushed through, man, I cannot imagine. I just can't imagine the Filipinos watching Iron Maiden, man. I mean, what's up with that? Are they still like, okay, dude, we're there. We're once this pandemic is done and we can do it. Are they coming? Are they coming back?
I don't know.
Oh, I mean, they never went. I mean, are they coming?
Um,
Or was it was it just
I
the was
have
it
to.
just the straight cancel, like canceled and then
No, it
bahala
was
na?
it wasn't. But after a while, I decided to go for a have it completely canceled, because I don't know what the situation is going to be this year,
Uh-huh.
next year. And
Right.
as we step back into live entertainment here, I think I would not want to go super huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, when you guys first posted that Iron Maiden SummerSlam, I was like, get the fuck out of here, man. I mean, Vernon Go is just fucking on. It's running on all cylinders, like down the fucking the straight, and it's just amazing. It's amazing what you become, what Slam has become. And who was after Death Angel? Who did you get? I don't remember.
After Death Angel, yeah, it was a metalcore band called Darkest Hour.
Uh huh.
And there was some other bands from Korea that joined. So
Oh,
it was,
that's right. Yeah.
and then the ninth one was Shadows Fall,
Oh, Shadows Fall. Right. Yeah.
and then the 10th one was Lamb of God and Testament,
Oh my God.
and that was when Lamb of God was still like at their peak
Yeah, they were
performance
at that
level.
peak. Yeah, they were at that peak.
That's
Yeah.
when Randy was still an alcoholic.
Man, that guy Randy Blythe, man, he's my God, that guy. I mean, I'm not really into the growling that much, but
Oh, he was the best at it.
yeah, he was really, I mean, yeah, he was badass, man. And then
Yeah,
Shadows Fall, the singer of Shadows Fall with those locks, man. It's like, damn. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, those were the 2000s because Shadows Fall, Lamb of God, they were all big here, man. They were
yeah,
big here. They were doing Ozfest. They were headlining Ozfest here, and
yep,
and that's another thing. It's like when I would think about it, because I would go to Ozfest. I saw I saw Black Sabbath twice in Ozfest. I saw Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Judas Priest in Ozfest, and I'm like, and I would think about it. It's like, you know what? We're doing it. Vernon's doing the same thing in Manila. Yeah, it's a smaller scale, yes, but it's the same concept. It's the same passion for that kind of music, and I was really really proud that. And of course, now SummerSlam is regarded as one of the best festivals of the world. I mean, music festivals, up
yeah.
there
We,
with
we we actually ranked in Festival 200,
yes,
which is an international ranking of festivals. We're the only Philippine music festival that's ever ranked in that list.
yeah, and you deserve it, man, because you're bringing these bands to Southeast Asia, where I don't think any other country would have had the. I mean, I don't want to say balls, but yeah, they wouldn't have the balls to even think that Slayer. Yeah, why not, man? Fucking Megadeth. I mean, Megadeth. I mean, can you? I just can't imagine the Filipinos who grew up on Megadeth and they finally see Dave Mustaine there in all his glory and singing, "Hello me," and right in front of their eyes. I mean, it's just amazing to think that
Yeah,
the Filipinos could experience it.
yeah, yeah.
So, what what's next? What's in your mind now? I mean, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting to do once this pandemic is finally we're finally free to do what we want? What's in your mind? What do you want to do?
Well, we actually have some show bookings for toward the end of this year and in January, for metal and for rock. Um, and I
And
I mean also our my wife is very um how shall I say, she's basically the K-pop queen. So
oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You also had a run of bands who were not metal. For
we,
like the younger
well,
generation, right?
we brought in Kelly Clarkson, we brought in Cyndi Lauper,
Uh huh.
we brought in Metric.
Right.
Uh, we did a bunch of bands that are not metal or even rock.
What
What for
was
rock? I
that?
mean, we
Was that
brought in
your?
Aerosmith. I mean, that was one of my
Oh, you brought in Aerosmith. Oh, okay. Wow.
yeah.
So what was that? I mean, the other side, was that your idea or was that your wife's idea?
What other side?
The other bands, the non-metal bands that you
Well,
started to bring in.
well, Kelly Clarkson was because at that time I was courting Happy, who became my wife,
Uh huh.
and Kelly was her all-time favorite artist. So when
Oh.
somebody was offering it to me, I said okay, and
Ah, Pogi points.
yeah, I just had 2 months to promote it, but I didn't care because I went and I negotiated with Kelly in person to help me propose to my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. So how did that go? Can you tell us?
Yeah, of course. I mean, basically, we just made it part of the show. So I said, well, you know, we did a video presentation and it became part of the show on the left and right IMAGs, and it was basically um
Oh,
you know
sorry. Where was this? Was it in the
Araneta
Araneta?
Coliseum.
Okay.
So basically, I had my team put together a short video that would play during the bridge of the song "My Life Would Suck Without You," which was her encore,
Uh huh.
and it was basically "Dear's Happy," "My life would suck without you. Will you marry me?"
Where were you? Where was this happening?
We're there in the front of the stage, and Kelly was like directing everybody to look up at the screens during the bridge, and then she came down and said, "So what do you say?" And she gives her the mic.
Oh my god, dude! So you proposed in a fucking packed Araneta Coliseum?
Yeah,
It's the pressure for her, man. Oh my god.
yeah,
Man, that was a really that's. I mean,
but that's her favorite artist.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, 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 yeah.
she got to have dinner with her. She took her to the back to the airport, that kind of stuff.
Uh huh. Oh man, that was exciting, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. So you
Like
have all these. It's. I mean, see,
Cindy
because
Lauper
this is.
too. Cindy Lauper is one of Happy's favorite artists, and I mean, you and I mean, growing up at the age we are, I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
Cindy
Cindy
Lauper
Lauper.
she's an icon, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, okay, let's book her too. I mean, we book people that artists that we like. So yeah,
Yeah, it's great because it's not. It's. I mean, Cindy Lauper. It's like, well, Cindy Lauper. I mean, why, diba? But I mean, the simple reason is that because you like her. You want to promote your favorite artist. You want to put a concert
and
for them.
and seriously, like the hard thing about this business is sometimes you have friends asking for free tickets, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, the show is for sale. I mean, it's one thing to like commit to an artist, to pay an artist fee, and then you just kind of have to hope that it works out financially. I mean,
Right.
so yeah, I've lost some friends who just weren't happy anymore that I didn't give them free tickets. But they don't understand, like, your your few thousand pesos is 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 just, it may be a lot of money for you, but it's, I mean, this is show business. We're talking, many zeros.
Yeah, these are not slouches. This is Cindy Lauper you're watching,
Yeah,
man. This is not.
I
It's not the neighborhood, singer.
no,
Yeah. So
no, yeah.
I mean, and 1,000 pesos. Come on, that's $20, dude. I
Oh,
mean,
no, Cindy Lauper tickets were not 1,000 pesos.
oh,
Maybe the general admission, but I mean, this person was asking for VIP tickets.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, you realize that if their friendship to you is based on free tickets, then you don't have a friendship. you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah, man. So how about on the so do you can you divulge names for concerts coming up in the end of the year?
Well, towards the fourth quarter of 2022, I mean, this was a show that we already promoted, and actually, it's technically sold out. It's a young rock band though, called Boys Like Girls. I mean, they're not new anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
um, that one, it should still go through. The one in January I can't divulge because they are still deciding on the date.
Is
But
it a
it's a metal band.
it's a metal band? Is it okay? Just give me some clues. Is it an old school or new school? I'm not gonna guess. I'm just wondering.
I wouldn't say it's definitely not old school, like um like Judas Priest.
Right.
It's not new school either. I would say that they were really famous '90s, in the '90s,
Oh, okay.
and
Is it
and their fame continues today. Although I would say their peak was '90s, first decade 2000. So they're I wouldn't call that new, but
Right.
not old.
And
And
you're a
I
fan. You're a
can
fan of
give
this
you
band.
no,
No. Okay.
no, it's not my style, but I like them.
Uh huh.
It's not something I grew up. It was past my time, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
Like to be honest, like I was very disappointed in the Metallica's Black album. Like so after that time, I really and I started to work more after that in trying to make money in the
Uh,
'90s. So
oh.
I and I didn't start Pulp Magazine. So that I kind of left music for almost a decade. You know,
Yeah. Right. Right.
I was just working. Um, but
Is is Metallica in your sights, man? They
no,
got to come back to the Philippines, man.
no, they're not. But
No.
I wouldn't say no. Like if it came across the table, I
Uh
would
huh.
look at it. And because I mean, if I did do Metallica, then I would have brought in all of the big guys.
The Big Four. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I saw that show, man. The Big Four here in it was where Coachella is, in Indio.
yeah,
And my gosh, I during Megadeth, because Megadeth was second. It was Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, then Metallica. And my brother-in-law, we decided to go inside the crowd, not just in the
wow,
not like, okay, whatever, let's try. And then god damn, when they started, oh my god, the pit just squeezed everything. And then I wasn't used to being inside the pit,
yeah.
so my arms were up raised. So when everyone started squeezing, I could feel my ribs like squeezing in, and I couldn't breathe. And
Oh
then
my
I
gosh,
started, yeah, because you're in a crowd, so
yeah,
everyone's pushing. And I started to panic because I couldn't breathe. They were squeezing my
yeah,
body. And then I go, wait, I got to put my arms down and put it by my side. And that's the trick. I felt fine after that. You just guard your ribs with your
yeah,
arms. And but man, it was intense. Megadeth was so good. I mean, and then when Slayer came on, and and their lead guitarist was still there, but he was already sick.
Jeff Hanneman.
Gary
Yeah,
Holt played the most of the set. And then uh, what's his name again? The guitarist,
Jeff Hanneman.
Jeff Hanneman. He came out for a couple of songs, but he couldn't.
Oh,
He couldn't play more than three songs, or maybe just two actually.
fuck.
Yeah, so Gary Holt played the whole set aside. Yeah, and then I think a year, maybe within that year, Hanneman was gone already. You know,
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it was sad. Yeah, because everyone knew about his condition at the show. By that time, everyone knew. So everyone was like, okay, Gary Holt's playing fine. And then when he came out, everyone just freaked out. It's like everyone just freaked, man. And
Yeah,
then that was the first time I ever saw Slayer. And it was like, God damn, these guys, man, these guys are so fucking intense. And
yeah.
it was amazing. And that was when, and Dave Lombardo. That was when Dave Lombardo came back to the band for a while.
Oh
So
wow,
so I actually got to see Dave Lombardo with Slayer.
wow,
Yeah, it was amazing. And then after Metallica set, they had that jam session in the end when all of them were there. Oh my god, it was metal heaven. It was just
wow.
amazing, man.
That's really brave of you to go to the pit. I mean, I wouldn't do that.
Dude, I mean, because before Megadeth, because when Anthrax played, there was a big size amount of people, but not everyone was there yet. Everyone was still drinking in the parking lot.
Yeah,
And then when Megadeth came on, a chunk of the crowd just came in, and we were already inside. So when this big chunk of crowd came in for Megadeth, we were like, holy shit, where'd all these people come from, man? And then of course, after that, Slayer and then Metallica. And it was funny because when Metallica came on, you could just stand. You could not take a step backward, forward, to the side. It was so full of people. and we were just standing there waiting for the band to come on. And then I had a couple of joints in my pocket, but I didn't have a lighter. So it was funny. And then uh, some guy, maybe in the vicinity, said, "Anybody have any joints, man?" And I go, "I got a joint, but I don't got a lighter." And then when I said I don't have a lighter, like five lighters came up with with the flame on.
Ah,
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, okay, okay. So I think I had two or three joints. I kept one for myself, but the two other I lit it up, and it's like everyone just spread this shit around, man. Just spread it, and then we'll all get high before Metallica starts. And it was great, man. It was just fucking great. And then when they do Creeping Death and then they do the Die chant, oh man, it's
yeah, that's
just
awesome.
amazing.
I love that song.
Yeah, yeah, Creeping Death. Yeah, that's my. I think that would be my favorite Metallica song, just for everything, the music, the lyrics, especially the lyrics.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so before we end, I just wanted to ask you, like, what are you listening to right now aside from those the usual suspects? What's your thing nowadays, music wise?
Um, hmm. I listen to Kenny Rogers.
Really? The
I,
Gambler?
yeah, I love that song. I listen to Schubert, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach.
Nice, nice.
I
Yeah,
I listen
I like
to
classical music too, man.
Billie Holiday.
Mm,
Uh, I listen to shit. I listen to Southern rock. I don't know. I get this weird kind of hillbilly vibe.
right. like
Uh,
like what's Leonard Skinner and it's
yeah.
Allman Brothers, like that.
Recently, I went back and started to search for, just during this pandemic, I discovered Spotify. I didn't realize it was so easy, and so I look for the old songs that I like "Lick It Up,"
Right.
"Looks That Kill" by Motley Crue.
Uh huh.
Um, yeah, it's weird. I love. I found all these like metal love song lists. I like all that
Yeah,
cheesy shit. Um, yeah, that's what I listen to.
that's cool, man. That would be another cool idea if you got like 80s metal bands, you know, like like uh how would I say?
Oh well,
Are you are you are you into Def
people.
Leppard? Did you ever get into Def Leppard?
Oh yeah, I love Def Leppard.
Yeah, cool, man. I love Def Leppard too, yeah.
They were offered to me, but they wanted to do the show on All Saints Day here, and I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah. No one's gonna go.
And Whitesnake was offered to me, but I didn't want to do that, even though I love Whitesnake, as I just feel I don't think David Coverdale is David Coverdale anymore.
Well, I wouldn't underestimate him because I saw Whitesnake, but it's been a while. I saw
Yeah,
Whitesnake open for Priest, and who was his guitarist? Red Beach was his guitarist,
yeah.
and yeah, he could still hit those notes, man. I would
But
think.
the thing is, like, they still believe that they could do an arena everywhere, and they cannot do an arena
Oh,
here.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um.
you can't do anything smaller than the Coliseum.
No, and it would be sad, you know.
It would be sad. Yeah.
Yeah, not only financially, but it'll just be sad to even put White Snake out in that kind of situation. You
Right,
know,
right.
um, I actually, I think, I think it was um, Sebastian Bach's management that reached out to me. I do
Oh,
that show
dude. Yeah, fuck yeah. Sebastian Bach. Fuck yeah, man.
because he wants to do a show that's just that hit album, 18 and Live.
Yeah, just the first Skid Row album, or maybe the first two ones, Slave to the Grind, man.
Well, it's just it's I think it's the first album, the whole album, and then a couple of other songs from and a couple new ones. That's his whole set. I said that.
Oh, okay.
I said that sounds good. That would be a
Yeah,
good throwback show if it happens.
man, it's exciting. I mean, with someone in your position, you have these. Oh man, if I was in your position, I'd be like a kid in a candy store. It's like, let's do Tesla and Skid Row and Def Leppard in one show. I think I can. It's like it's so much fun, dude. You're having fun? I'm assuming you're having fun, right?
Well, I mean,
I mean, of course,
there's certain
there's the
limits to
hard
what I would
work.
do. Like
There's
I
the hard
like there
work,
was a
of
time
course.
when like we were just discussing Bon Jovi, but I just feel I don't think the market here would pay for Bon Jovi in at this in this generation.
This generation, right, right. Well, they did already come here back in the day.
Yeah,
Razorback opened for them. It was funny. I
but
have
but
this.
but back in that
Uh,
day, they were not asking for millions of dollars.
oh, right. That's right. You're right. No, you're right. Yeah, because they're already Bruce Springsteen status.
Tapos it's not like the states. Filipinos are very trendy.
Uh
They
huh.
don't respect history.
Right. They'll just say, Bon Jovi, Baduy,
Tanda tanda na yan.
Tanda na yan.
The only ones who want to see it are all the jeepney driver. Nako, they have no money.
They have no money. That's right. No, you're right, man. You're right. I have this before we go. I have this funny story about Bon Jovi when they played in Manila,
Okay.
because Razorback opened, and so the backstage area they had it was in Rizal Coliseum,
Yes.
Rizal Memorial, and so their dressing room was the where the teams you know hang out
Yeah.
backstage, sports teams, whatever, the locker rooms, and so we were outside where the catering was. We didn't have access to that. But the whole time, one of Razorback's roadies, I was still, I think Wolfgang was there already, but I was hanging out. I was roadieing for Razorback for that gig, and one of the other roadies, he would climb up on this ledge, and be the window to the locker room of Bon Jovi, and he would do this thing. This thing that that kids do. We used to do. You put your mouth on the glass and then you blow.
Oh
So it's like
shit. Yeah.
so your mouth is like huge in the glass. So
Yeah.
he would do that, and then the band would like, get him, that fucker, get him. He's bothering us, get him. So he would do that, and then he would run. So the private security of Bon Jovi would come out and say, Where's that guy? Where's that? And then we would shrug our shoulders, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he
That's
would come
hilarious.
back. He would come back and do it again, and the band would be like, get that fucker.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm serious. It's so funny, dude. Dude, it was so funny. He would, and they would, and then the thing is, they played 2 nights. The
Wait, the
first
band was
night got
actually pissed off?
they were pissed off. I think I guess they were having, I guess they had jet lag. They were not. And then they see this guy's mouth on the window, like, get that guy out of there. So,
Why didn't they just cover the windows with something?
oh well, I mean, it was like, it was just, um it wasn't, they didn't, kumbaga, they didn't transform the locker room into a living room. They just left it there with a couple of chairs. It
See,
was just,
I tell
so
you,
they were
that's why
probably in a
back in
bad
those
mood.
days, back in those days, dude, they did not uh, like Ovation was lucky because they did not have the sophistication that is done today.
Right.
Like the locker room, like the dressing rooms for Tom Araya and Carrie and Gary and Paul, like they're made into like they're draped. There's
Yeah.
candles. There's
There's
couches.
couches.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, they didn't have that. I guess that's why they were in a bad mood. They
yeah. That's
probably,
that's probably why they said, "Hey, let's make a note on this place, the Philippines. Fuck, their dressing room
yeah.
stuck."
Yeah, we're never coming back here. They
Yeah.
probably they
Oh
probably
yeah,
came.
this is the place that gave the Beatles all that shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and they probably came from Japan, or Singapore or Hong Kong, and
Oh,
they were,
everybody's so respectful. They're like,
yeah, and they were given everything, and then you come to the Philippines and they get a locker room, in Rizal Memorial, Coliseum.
yeah.
It's funny. So anyway, so they played 2 nights, and that first night I was there. The second night, they got another roadie, another crew.
Nice.
Razorback did. So, but the first night got rained out. So after about 5 songs, the rain was just too much that they had to stop the show.
Wow.
Yeah. So the band goes back to the that locker room area, and they run because it's a downpour. You know, Manila downpour, like 30 minutes worth of downpour. So they run, and then we run because we were watching them from the side of the stage. So we go backstage too because we have all the passes, and
Yeah.
we run, and then we're running through the rain. And then when I stop running, right in front of me is John Bon Jovi, right in
That's
front of
awesome.
me, man. It's like, and I'm like, I look up, it's like, holy shit, that's John Bon Jovi, that's Richie Sambora, that's Alec John Such, that's Tico Torres, and then the keyboardist, I forget his name right now. And they were all there. They were like, and they were like, holy shit, have you ever seen rain like this, man? They're like, and then
Wow.
uh and then the funniest thing, this is the funniest thing. So Louis Talan of Razorback, the bassist of Razorback, he was there. And so both bands we were just milling about. Bon Jovi and Razorback, we're just milling about in the backstage area. Just like bewildered. It's like, what are we gonna do? When is this rain gonna stop? It's like,
Yeah.
is this a fucking typhoon that we're stuck in or something? And then Louis starts talking to Tico Torres, the drummer,
Yeah.
and he goes, and he was so mean. It's like, hey Tico, man, you're so Baduy, man. And then Tico Torres is like, yeah, of course he doesn't know what Baduy means. He goes, oh, thanks, man. That's really nice of you. And we were like, Louis, sama mo, pare. But
Gago.
we got a good laugh about it. But yeah, that was a very memorable experience with Bon Jovi. And yeah,
That's awesome that you got to see them. They were at their peak. They were still so young.
that was really their peak, and the whole band was still together.
Yeah.
Alec John Such, the bassist, was still there. Oh, and another thing about that guy, dude, that guy would not play. He would not play. He would just, like, let's say it's an E, right?
Yeah.
He would just hit the E one time, boom, and then he would just pose and wave to the crowd, and then hit it. Yeah, and then hit the word note again, boom, instead of having like a rhythm, like dum dum bum 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 bum, dum 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 ba, dum dum. You just like hit the E note as long as it could sustain and just pose. And we were like looking at him like, this guy's not fucking playing, man. And no
That's
wonder. I mean,
hilarious.
I don't know if you know this, but Alec John Such never played on the Bon Jovi albums. Their bass player now is the one who always played bass on Bon Jovi albums. So we were like really unimpressed by Alec John Such. We're like, this guy's a fucker, man. He's not playing, dude. He's just posing up there.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's my Bon Jovi experience.
Awesome.
I mean, so what? Let's before we end, let's last one. What would be your memorable experience with these bands? If there's any one that sticks,
Oh, there's
that
there's
really
so
sticks out.
many.
Yeah.
There's so many. I think one would be meeting Steven Tyler and the manager of Aerosmith at that time was a lady named Trudy Green, and she was also the manager. I mean, she managed Michael Jackson, she managed the Rolling Stones,
Mm-hmm.
and she says to me, "Oh, Vernon, have you met Steven?" And I said, "Oh, not yet, actually." And she goes, "Oh, Steven, come here. This is our promoter." And he goes to me, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he's like, he's very aware of like sales, and that's why we almost give ticket sale counts, and
Mm,
at that point, I mean, sales were, I mean, hadn't reached a point where the show was really financially doing well.
right.
It was okay, but it wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't. He knows that it wasn't making me a lot of money,
Uh-huh.
or he probably realized that it wasn't at the break even point yet, and he goes, Vernon, blah 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 blah. I mean, he basically said the amount on the contract was a lot of money. Hey man, I said, yeah, yeah, yes, yes, sir, it is. And he goes, well, you know what it's all about. And I said, "No, sir. What's it about?" He said, "It's about the pussy."
That's the way he said it.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's hilarious, dude.
yeah. And I said, "Yeah, okay."
Oh my god, it's about the pussy.
Yeah, yeah. And
Well,
mind you,
he's
he had a very attractive female trainer that
oh
travels
come
with.
on. I can just imagine,
Yeah,
And he's not lying.
he's not lying. Yeah,
He's not lying, man. So anyway, Vernon Go, thanks very much, man. Thanks for your time, dude. I really
yeah.
appreciate it, man.
It's nice to see you and talk to you.
Yeah, you too, man. And good luck with everything and bring Iron Maiden back. I mean, bring Iron Maiden and bring Metallica back and shit, bring all these cool bands because man, you are the man. You the man. You're putting the Philippines has nothing else going for it except what you're doing for it, man. So continue what you do and we are very grateful for what you've done over the years since SummerSlam 1 until now. So thank you, man.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, Wolf, and you stay safe out there.
All right. I'll see you soon, bro.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.